Testing, testing. Welcome to the Choose to Change 90-day reentry program. If you're a visitor or new to this program, we welcome you and we are glad you are here. Many of us walked into these rooms not sure what to expect, but many of us stayed because we saw real people with real problems who had real hope. This 90-day re-entry program is a self-supporting group sponsored by the Choose to Change Foundation. There are no dues or fees to attend the class, but we do encourage donations from our members and anyone who believes in what we are doing. The only requirement for membership is a sincere desire to change. So if you're ready to change your life, then you're in the right place. Through this program, you will learn the tools and resources to finally change your life forever and a relationship-based support system to keep you going. For many of us, there's no easy way out of the mess we created in our lives, even if it wasn't your fault. But the good news is that there is a way out if you choose to believe in the impossible. My name is Frank Salazar, and it's a pleasure to be here, and it's great seeing people coming out. I've been a member of the Choose to Change Foundation since June 11, 2015, when I walked into these rooms wanting to change my life because I was just tired of living the way that I was. And if it wasn't for God leading me here, if it wasn't for Orlando and what he teaches here and other men that God put in my path, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. So without further ado, we're going to hear from our mentor and CEO, Orlando Salinas. Please join me in welcoming Orlando to the lecture.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Right. Gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you're here. Anybody remember what we did last week by any chance? We did. Who said that? Man. What else did we talk about? I guess now I'm going to test your mind. Yeah, I did talk about several things. I gave you the scenario about how we're right here. Bien tristes. And we're trying to get over here. That's what this class is all about. Basically, that's what I talked about. Trying to get over here to come some kind of change, some kind of success, some kind of results. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to climb our way out of the mess that we made our lives. Would you agree? And so just welcome everyone. I want to thank you for watching. I'm just going to jump right into it. So last week, we talked about trusting God, is what we talked about. Trusting God and how we get to a point in our lives that sometimes we don't want to believe in certain things for our own lives because it's too hard, because of what we've been through, because of the mistakes we've made. Some are further down the line than others, right? Some of us didn't mess up our lives that much, made a mistake. I know people that, went to prison or got one DWI and they straightened out their life. Or went to prison just once and that was it. They were hard workers, they got it. And that's what you have to do. You have to get it. Some people never get it. And I talked about what the reentry program was all about, how that it's a process last week, about helping you understand what needed to change, what needs to change, which means whose mindset? Your mindset. That's right. And that's a huge one. I'm glad you remember that, because we're going to talk about that in the next couple of sessions, But that's one that I'm going to talk about. This one is faith. I give you just an overview, right? Talked about the four factors of the process of change. In other words, to get from here to over here is a process. It's a process. It's kind of like when you went to prison. You go into this process, right? Everything works through a process. We talked about that and how that these four facts about the process of change. That number one, it's a process. Number two, it's hard. Number three, it takes time. Change. Number four, that you have to be consistent in what you're doing. That's what we talked about last. I touched a little bit on the desire and faith, and mine's just touched on it because we're going to talk more about it today. And today what I want to talk about is starting over. Because that's what you're doing. We're starting over. People start over for many different reasons, right? A divorce. Just met with a lady today that she's starting her new life because she got divorced and now she has to rebuild her life and her business and just different things. So have to restart. So we're not the only ones. Us, we messed up our life, went to prison. We lost a lot of things, right? And again, many of us are in different levels. So no matter what level you are, maybe you're worse than some. But either way, you have to start over. And it's the same process. Whether you're a 3-time loser, ex-drug addict, you never got it, never changed, or you just messed up once and went to prison and now you're on your right road. It doesn't matter. It's still a process. One thing is for sure, it's harder the deeper you go, right? The deeper you go. So I hope you don't want to go deeper. So let's talk about starting over. And then I want to read out of Deuteronomy 30. This is a scripture that how I came up with the idea of choose to change. How I came up with that name, how God gave me that name, because everybody like, wow, that's really good. And at the time that I put it together, I didn't think it was that great, right? Choose to change. It sounded kind of corny, right? But did you know it's biblical? It's biblical. So imagine me in prison, wanting to change, excited, but at the same time knowing that I messed up my life so much that I don't know if I can really change, or if it was even possible for a man like me to change, and even if I did, what kind of real hope could I expect after prison? Because I was going to walk out of prison at 40. I knew that, and so then it was hard for me to just. That's why the mindset is so important to grasp, right? But I'm reading the Bible, right? I'm trusting God. I'm trusting Jesus Christ. And I come across these scriptures. And I want to read them to you. So here you go. This is Moses talking to the children of Israel, to the people. And listen to what he's saying. If you're familiar with the story of the Bible is that God delivered his people from slavery. And he promised them that he would take them to a whole new destiny, that he had a destiny for them. We call it, does anybody know what God promised? The promised land. That's what he promised. What they didn't know is that they were going to have to work for it. Because that's how change works. You have to work for it. But anyway, so here's Moses, and he's giving these guys an ultimatum, telling them, here's the situation. So let's read it. It's out of Deuteronomy 30:11. And here's what it says. He says, for this commandment which I command you today is not a mystery. You know. That's powerful right there, just right there. You know what to do. You know what's right and wrong. You know where you messed up, right? You know what to do. That's what he's saying. He says, nor is it far away. He says, it's not way up there in heaven that you can't get it. Or who will ascend to heaven and bring it down to you, that you may hear it and do it? Nor is it beyond the sea where that you can't, that you should say, who's going to take me over to the sea to bring it and hear it? He says, but the word is very near to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. You know what to do is what he's telling them. You know what to do. And then he says, see, I have set before you life and death, or life and good, death and evil. There's two things that you have to choose from. He says, in that I command you today to love God. Don't choose death. He says, love God, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments, his statutes, his judgments. Why? That you may live. The Bible tells us that if we serve God, it's the best way to live. That's what he's saying. If you make the right choices, it's the best way to live. That's what he's saying. He says, I already laid it out for you. Here's what it is. Do it. That's what he says. He says, to keep his commandments, his statutes, that you may live, and not only live, and multiply. When I read that, you know what I thought? Because I remember I was a vato loco forever. I was a loser drug addict. That's who I was. Literally, I was a loser drug addict, loser father, loser husband. I was a loser, just wanted to kill my worthless self. You have to understand why I have so much passion for this. And I didn't just want to change my life and be a vato loco for Jesus. And I wanted to prosper. I wanted to change. I wanted to overcome. I wanted to do something with my life. Don't you want to do something with your life? And I can see it in you, brother. You're going to do it. You're going to do it, Rico. And so when I read that, it said that you may live. In other words, he's going to tell me how to live and multiply. You're going to prosper. And then he says, and the Lord your God will bless you. And in the land which you will go and possess. In other words, he's going to bless you wherever you go. But if your heart turns away, this is what it says. But if you don't do this, he says, if you don't make the right choices, if your heart turns away so that you do not hear and are drawn away to worship other gods and to serve them, listen to what he says. I announce to you today that you shall surely perish. You're not going to make it. That's what he's saying. You shall not prolong your days in the land which you crossed into. In other words, in your new life. So then he said, and here's the scripture that settles it all in. He says, I call heaven and earth as witnesses today against you. He says that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. And then he tells you what to do. Therefore, choose. That's what it says. Therefore, choose life. Why? So that you and your family may live. That you may love the Lord your God, that you may obey his voice, and that you may cling to him. For he is your life and the length of your day, that you may dwell in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you. I was reading that, and it was like a revelation, brother. I wasn't a biblical scholar. I'm not. But what I did understand is that there's There's two roads. That's what I understood. There's only two: good or evil, blessing or cursing. And then he says, what? What did he say? Choose. And that's where it all starts, guys. And this is why we call it choose to change. Because choices, the choices you make from now on, what do you think got you here? To this point in your life, what do you think got you here? Choices. Now, we all have a choice. Some people have a messed up life today, all because of what? Their choices. I'm talking about good people. Love their family, want to do good, but they kept on making bad what? Choices. And what do you do with someone like that? And so then that's what happens to us. And so what I'm trying to help you understand, and again, why I'm so passionate about this, is because I see so many people mess up their life. And you might say to yourself, well, I'm not that bad. And you're not. God loves you. You're not dumb. You're smart. There's nothing you can't do. But because of you don't believe that, but you keep on making the bad choices after bad relationships. Going back to drinking. Am I making sense here? Choices. That's where it all starts. It all starts with choices. Well, actually, it starts in desire. And you guys are here. You got there. You got to this crossroad of desire. You came to this class. You took a chance. Let's see what this guy has to offer. And so that I am a very simple man. I just need direction. Just give me some ideas. Give me somewhere where to start. I'm not asking you to give it to me. Just show me. ¿Verdad? Como decía, I heard a saying that says, no te estoy pidiendo. Nomás ponme donde hay. Uno dijo. And that's what God did for us. He put us where we can prosper. You made it home. Wanting to change is where it all starts. Wishing things would get better. Did you ever think about that right now? Did you ever? How do you think? Man, I wish things would get better. You ever thought like that? I wish I could become a better man. I know I should be a better father. I really should stay sober. Man, I hope I don't go back to prison. I'm using those words purposely. I should become a better Christian. All those words, hope and wish and should, they have to change. If you want to change your life, they have to change. You got to stop hoping. You got to stop wishing. What does it have to change to? Let me tell you what it has to change to. You must want to change. That's a powerful word. Let me put it up here. Must. This word is what's going to take you to the top. You got to stop wishing, hoping, and dreaming. All that was in prison. Frank, when he walked in here, I think he said something about I was trying or something like that. I said, well, stop doing that. Stop trying. I say that to a lot of people. Stop trying. Don't try anymore. You don't have time to try anymore. Do you think you have another chance, brother, in life? Do you think you have another chance? Yes, you do. Do you think you have more time to make more mistakes? No, I wouldn't recommend it. No, I sure don't have more time. And when we're young, we think we have time. You think you can go, how many of you were drug addicts here? How many were you drug addicts? Okay. You remember that feeling Just one more. Remember that feeling? Just one more. You remember Chavarria or no? Just one more. I went to prison for just one more. And all of you, I guarantee you went to prison for just one more. One more beer, one more outing, one more party, one more. In the AA program, they say one is too many. Anybody know the rest? And 1,000 never enough. So see, you know, but we forget. And that's why coming here is so important. Coming to church, why it's so important. Because left to yourself, after you leave these rooms, your mind goes back to La La Land. And you're driven, which you're going to learn in here, by something else, which I'm going to teach you when I get to mindset. I'm going to show you what you're driven by. And you don't even see it. And that's why the word must is so important. You must. You have to say to yourself, I must become a better man. I must become a better father. I must stay sober. I must stay out of prison. Or I will stay out of prison. You see the difference in words? I will and I must. I like that. I will do it. And when I learned this idea, this concept, because you'll be amazed the way your mind works. Positive words, affirmations, encouraging yourself. Do you understand? And again, man, I repeat myself a lot here, and you're going to hear it maybe, but because, we forget. And I love doing what I'm doing because I don't want to forget. I know how hard it was for me to believe in something that seemed so impossible. See, you see me today, and I'm living a good life, and I have a great family, I have a great wife, I have children. I mean, I have an amazing life. Brother, but you should have seen me 20 years ago. And I started gathering these concepts, these ideas of what it really takes to change. I read them in books, the Bible. And I thought to myself, is it really possible just to change the way I think? Just to change a few words? And guess, you know what I found out? Yes, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. It's powerful. I come to church 3 times a week. I come to church on Sunday mornings. Actually, every morning, every Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm here. By 8:30, I'm here. Actually, I go to breakfast at 7 with some brothers. Then we come to church at 9. We come to something called Serious Men. I learned something there. Then at 10, we go right into Sunday school. Then at 11, we have church service. And then at 6 that evening, I come back to church. I've been doing that for years. Years. In fact, ever since I got out of prison. 20 years ago. You know what that's done for me in my mind? It changed everything. Everything. I remember they couldn't trust me. It was $20. I couldn't see a beer or a joint or a needle, a crazy. I couldn't, temptation. That stuff I laugh at that now. What in the world was I thinking? I look at it and now I understand. Why? Oh, because I made some good choices. Day after day after day after minute after hour. I just kept on doing that. Oh, why? I started right here, but I started in prison. So what's the trick? What helped me? What's going to help you get your must and your shoulds and your hopes and your dreams to become must and will? And what's going to what can help you to do that? Does anybody have any questions so far? Here, anybody? Comments? Nobody? Questions? Are you sure? There's this thing called the why factor. The why factor. Has anybody ever heard of the why factor? Remember, I'm talking about starting over. Oh, I didn't write it. Hold on. Hold that thought. Give him the mic so he'll tell us. We're talking about starting over today. You ever heard of the why factor?
When you have a why, when you find out what your why is, why you want to change, your how is small.
Your how is irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant?
Because you have a reason.
Because it doesn't matter what I have to do. I will do it. And that's the why factor should bring some intensity to what you're doing. It should bring you to your knees and tears. When you feel like drinking, when you feel like going back to your old life, when you feel like making money selling drugs, when you feel like doing what you've always wanted to do, but you know it's not right. And you're going to have to bow down. God, help me. Or whoever you're going to bow down to, but you will bow. That's for sure. And you have to cry out that what's going to make you do that? You have to have a sincere desire in your heart to change for a reason. What is your why? What is your reason? For me, it was that 5 o'clock call to my home. That's what it is. It still is to today. You remember the story? Babe, I'm not coming home in the county jail. I'm on my way to prison for the rest of my life. Not coming home anymore. Really messed up. My little baby daughter, 4 years old. It's her birthday. Daddy, today's my birthday. You weren't here. Are you coming now? It broke me, man. It broke. What's going to break you? What is it going to take to get that why factor? And the reality is some of you are going to really have to fight for it. Because everything inside of you wants to say, F it. Now, because it's so easy to do. How many have felt like that already? Be honest. Yeah. Because it's so easy to do because there's nothing pulling you forward. I had something pulling me forward. And what happens with a lot of men, guys, is that you come in, you get out of prison, I know you want to do right. I know you have good intentions. But good intentions go out the window if you don't have a why factor. If you don't keep making the right choices. It doesn't matter. And so what happens is so many people are trying to change. They're trying to change their life, but they're looking back and they're going like this. And you know, they're not watching where they're going because you're so focused on what you think you're losing. Change is change. Change is inevitable. It's inevitable. You're going to change. The question is, into what? Worse or better? The why factor. I don't know what it's going to take for you to get it. I don't know. But I do know once you get it, you're unstoppable. Some people is my mother, my grandmother. It should be your children. But if you were like me, I didn't know how to love my children. I had no idea. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how. So it took going back to prison, robbing a store for one more hit on my daughter's 4th birthday, to finally get that Y factor. That shook me to the core. Does anybody have anything here? Anything to say? Go ahead.
I heard somebody once say the analogy of the way a car is designed. It's the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror because you got to focus on what you got going on in front of you.
What was that again?
The design of a car,
Uh huh.
the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror because you got to focus on what's in front of you. But you can always peek back in the rear view, make sure nothing's coming from behind.
There you go. And what we're doing is we're like this, trying to go forward and still looking at the. It's good to look back. I'm going to talk about that in here. I'm not saying it's not good to look back. But again, you're going to find out in here what's pulling you and how you can get rid of it. It's powerful stuff. So next week, how many ever heard of goals? Goal setting. You know what? Let's pass around the donation bucket. You know what? I didn't bring my donation today. Gee, wow. I have a check. Ah. If you guys have a dime, I don't have nothing, Chavaria. Hijo, eso ya quedé mal. That's fine. You don't have to. I know you guys are new, so if you don't, a lot of times, this is what actually the money here is what buys all the coffee and all that. That's what we do with it. Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Dale la mic. No, es que you need to do it with the mic. No, porque es que the video can hear you. No se va a oír la voz.
Órale, yeah, like me, like I wake up in the mornings, pues I'll take me a shower and go take the bus in the mornings. Me bajo, I'll get off like to the sections on the job sites.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get off there. I'll be walking all around. Like I go once walking north hasta que se acabe la construction site. Back again.
Mm-hmm.
Get back south. I'm in every restaurant asking for applications to work every day.
And you've been walking like that?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So that's my process. You know what I mean?
No, and that's awesome. And that's what it takes. What's your name again?
Jose.
Jose, and that's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna take. How long were you in prison?
Well, I did 14 months this time.
For this time. How many times have you been to prison?
5.
5 times. And how old are you?
I'm 50 now.
50?
I turned 50. I thought I was gonna be out for my birthday, but no se hizo. No se hizo because I had to finish a class que se llama Changes.
Okay, yeah, I know all
So
about it.
That hold me back because of the holidays that we had between from March to May. Y luego we had to take another 2 more weeks. I was supposed to finish that class like in the middle of June,
Mm-hmm.
pero como se vino un holiday during June también y todo eso, so we pulled me back to July 16th.
So what now what are you going to be focusing in now?
Well, right now I'm focusing on myself to find me a job. And
Okay.
move forward, ¿me entiendes? Do my
Yeah.
process.
Mm-hmm.
Y que nomás trabajando, keep on going.
You have a place to stay?
Yeah, I'm staying with my sister and I appreciate it. I appreciate her for helping me out again. ¿me
Yeah.
entiendes? She helped me a couple of times, pero sometimes we get into an argument y me corre.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave. When I start doing, que me comienza, if we get into an argument, I leave, I start going back into the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go back to the same situation, smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smoke weed, no fumo. Only thing I smoke, the thing that I would smoke, era crack.
No más. Well, you know that's not good, right?
No, I know it's not good. I know it's good because that's my downfall.
There you go. So now you know one of your biggest obstacles.
Yeah, that's my downfall.
Mm-hmm.
That's my downfall. See, otra vez, como the other day we got into it. Yeah, I'm gonna call you PO because I want you out of here.
Did she have a good reason to?
Es que she's one of my sister is one of those girl que se enoja la volada.
No.
Se le hace spark.
Have you given her a
Pero
good reason to get
she-
mad?
Es que she's well, I help her out there all the time.
Mhm.
El otro día mira, tengo pollas con lo agarré la pala para quitarle la yarda porque we don't have the lawnmower.
All right.
No tenemos la lawnmower ni nada de eso para cortarle la yarda.
Mhm.
So I had to use a shovel. ¿Entiendes? Para sacarle la ¿entiendes?
Mhm.
So, and one day, pues she asked me for, hey, what happened to the bags of the groceries that are the HB? Show me, come on. He said, no. Like, she started getting mad. Pues, it's right there. What are you fucking stupid? Like, excuse my language. No? Like, are you stupid or what? I'm telling you where they are. He goes, show me. I don't know why you put them up there. Que this and that. So we started, and I went to my room, ignored her. See, I called him, and then I explained, like, no, me va a calm down that day. So I'm gonna call your PO, so I want you out of my house. Y que todo this, pues call her up. I don't care. What you gotta do? This is your house, not mine. Better something happens like that, I'm going to the house anyway.
Mhm.
Because you're not gonna stop me from going what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
And you're like, I told her, like, stop pre-pressuring me a lot.
To do what?
Like, to do, like, stuff. Like, she'll try to tell me, like, she wants to, because I'm the baby from the whole family.
Okay.
Yo soy el más chiquillo. El más,
That's probably why you went to prison 5 times.
well, I've been doing stupid stuff, you know what I mean? Stealing, todo así, moviendo drugs y todo eso since I was younger. Él me conoce, he knows me too. Él me conoce cuando estaba chaval, younger, todo.
So what I want to know is what you're going to do from now on.
Now on, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. My plans to move forward and keep on looking for job and work and motivate myself to move on more forward.
So what do you think? You obviously need to find a place to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Save up some money, buy me a car, buy me a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told my sister, as soon as I get out this stuff, I'm gonna try to get me a job. I'll go to work first. Para irme a trabajar para el norte donde están pegando los hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Se jale right now. I know there's gonna be a lot of work up there.
And you just turned 50, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, last month.
All right.
So that's my
All right.
thing.
Thank you for sharing. 50 years old. How old are you, son? 29. So you want to change your life at 50 or at 29?
I changed my life 2 years ago.
There you go. So can you see the difference? Right? So now it's harder for Joe. Why? Because he's 50 now. And that's what I meant by it just gets harder. It gets harder. And now, and he knows what he needs to do, but now it's just harder. And that's what I'm trying to avoid some people when they're younger, because they don't see this. He's having a hard time. He had no place to go. He has shelter over him. He got the monitor. He's been to prison 5 times. It's hard, right? And that's why I'm here to try to help you. Yeah. And see, again, and I'm glad we don't see that. And so here's what happens. That you're so far on the edge that it's so easy to give up. And that's the reality. And the good news is you can do it. You can do it. But it's going to take everything inside of you. More than effort. Everything inside of you. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about all those things because no, but Yeah. Yeah. No, and the thing is you've burned so many bridges that you only have a few left. Maybe so, and you're gonna have you keep on coming here, you're gonna start understanding what I'm trying to say to you and what you need to do. Mhm. Mhm. And there's a reason for that. And I'm gonna teach you that. And if you can change that, then you'll make it. But there's some things that you have to change, which let me give it to you and we'll close. You have to change that. ¿Qué más? There's some habits you're gonna have to change, some mental habits, some verbal habits, anger. And here's a big one. Forgot how to spell lifestyle. Is that right? Lifestyle. And let me close with that one. Lifestyle. And I'm going to go through all these in the next few weeks. But let me close with lifestyle, because if you don't there's a lot of good intentions in your life and in your mind. You want to do good. But if you want to go smoke crack a little bit here and there, you're not going to make it because you haven't changed your lifestyle. You want to go drink a few beers here and there, it's very possible that if you're going to go back into a bad relationship, right? You're going to fall back because you don't want to change your lifestyle. There's some things that you can no longer do. And so in your mind, you say, well, it's not that bad. And it's not. For some people. But for you, it's bad. You just can't do it. And I've seen this over and over in so many people. Good people, good intentioned people. Believe in God. Hard workers. Yeah. That's correct. But some people can afford it, but we can't. Not anymore. You can't afford to get a DWI. Maybe a guy that's never been in jail, maybe he can afford it, but you can't. You can't afford to get mad with your sister and blow up. You can't afford that no more. You're going to have to learn to let it go. So anyway, we're going to learn a lot of this stuff in here. And how to stay on the straight and narrow, which is why I started the way I started. There's no easy way out. There's no easy way out. But I remember when I started, I was not looking for easy. I was looking for possible. And I had to, listen closely, force myself to believe in the impossible. And that's how I made it. Through the grace of God and a will to believe for something greater. And because I believed for something greater, God moved. And that's how God works. And that's how change works. But there's no easy way out. I have to tell you the truth, right? I have to tell you the truth. You want another piece of truth? Very few make it. And that's a fact. But I'm here to help you as much as I can. I can't do it for you. But I've paved the way. I can tell you exactly what you need to change. And if you start working on these things, I'm telling you, your life will change. And not only will it change, it will get awesome. So, are we good with that? All right. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching.